Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Welcome to Tathastu ICS. My name is Pooja Sharma and I am your current affairs faculty here at Tathastu ICS. So today is 23rd of January 2025 and I am going to take your daily news analysis of the Hindu newspaper. Okay, so let's start today's session. Before that, very good morning to everyone who are online right now. Okay. So this is the QR code for your Telegram group from where you can access the PDF files of these DNA session. Okay, all the session, not only mine, though all the sessions taken by all the faculties, right? So let's see which important news we are going to cover today. These are the upcoming courses which are going to be there at Tathastu ICS. If any one of you are interested, they can go through it. These are the news which we are going to cover today. So the first one is the flagship scheme for a girl child has helped defeat bias. Actually, which scheme it is talking about? It is talking about the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. Beti Padhao. Actually, it's been 10 years we have this scheme. Actually, it is a kind of a scheme come campaign. It was a campaign scheme where we wanted to aware people about saving the girl child. Saving the girl child, the saving part, okay, especially in the North Indian states, and the other component is majorly about the education of the girl child. Education. So it was basically concentrated on increasing the ratio of the sex ratio in our country, child sex ratio first. The second component was related to education and the third component was related to the health of a girl child in our country in general. So now our Prime Minister in Parliament actually talked about this flagship scheme. Then the National Health Mission has curbed several public health concerns, say a centre's report. Now a centre's report is here. It is actually 2021 to 2024. 2021 to 2024 assessment report. Okay, assessment of what? Assessment of government. What government has actually done. Okay, so according to this report, National Health Mission in our country has actually doing good. And what are the elements from where we can actually measure how good National Health Mission has done? So we are going to understand that also. Our third news is related to the center has announced MSP for the jute. Okay, what is important here? MSP means minimum support price. This is the actually minimum price which is fixed by the government for a agricultural commodity. Right now we give MSP on 23 crops for the farmers, because to make them so that the farmer are not worried about the market fluctuation. For example, your input of there is a farmer's input is high, but the farmer sometimes because of the market fluctuation is not getting enough money for the input he has done because of his crop. Now because of this scheme, the farmer will get at least a minimum price for his crop. So this is the significance of MSP in our country. Now the MSP for jute has announced, and now it has actually increased. They say that we have actually doubled the MSP for jute since 2014-15. Other than that, first we are going to understand about MSP, second we are going to know about the jute industry in our country. Okay, so again very important for this. The third is China's move must recast India's critical mineral push. So this is an article on your editorial page, and this article is about the China's policy. What is China's policy? Is China's export control policy. What China usually does, China actually monopolized in the critical mineral export. Critical minerals are something which is essential for a country's economy. For example, cobalt, for example, the kind of minerals we are going to use in our semiconductor push and roll. So every countries have some set of critical minerals, and most of those critical minerals are not only found in India, it is not only found in China, it is also being processed in China, and the most of the countries are totally dependent on China on that. India is also one of the country. US is also one of that country. But the thing is that China actually use this dependency of the other countries on China for critical minerals as a diplomatic move. Okay, it used it for its geopolitical aspiration. It sometimes restrict the export of these critical minerals. Now the article is about what are the options for India. How can we stay away, or we can save ourselves from such kind of moves by China. So this article is all about that. Someone actually asked them, ma'am, start the news analysis in Hindi. For Hindi, we already have a news analysis at the Tathastu ICS Hindi YouTube page. Okay, Shivani ma'am is taking that. Please, this is the time in which, this is the same time, around 10 it start. So you can go and watch your Hindi DNA session in the Tathastu ICS Hindi channel. Okay, please go there. Those students who are seeking a good channel for the Hindi DNA sessions, please go to our Shivani ma'am's DNA session. Okay, at Tathastu ICS Hindi YouTube page. Okay, now let's start our session for today. These were the important news which were there in today's newspaper. So the first news is about the flagship scheme, that is a Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. Why it is known as a flagship scheme? Flagship means something that is the flag bearer. If we are going to address these issues, for example, to save the girl child, to think about, to do something good in the education and health of the girl child, then in general we can push India towards the development, because half of the population, we are taking care of the population. They finally going to become the part of the workforce only. They are going to contribute in the development only. The first stage is to save them first, because the child sex ratio in our country in general is very less. Okay, we need to increase that. Only then we will be away from the patriarchal mindset or stereotype we had towards the girl child, and they can actually contribute in our economy. So that's why it is known as a flagship scheme. Now asserting that Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, save and educate girl child. Here it is only talking, the title of the scheme is only talking about saving and educating, but there are other components also which are included in that, especially the health. Okay, health of girl child. Okay, campaign has overcome gender bias. This has been actually told by our Prime Minister, that there are so many districts. Actually, we identified 100 districts, okay, in which we launched this program in the first phase. Which were those districts? Those districts were mainly the ones where the child sex ratio was the least, okay, where the child sex ratio was less in our country. We launched this scheme specially in the first phase to those districts. Now our Prime Minister is saying that in those districts in which we actually launched in the first phase, with historically low child sex ratio, has shown remarkable improvement since the campaign was launched a decade ago. It was launched in 2015, okay, 22nd of January 2015. 22nd January 2015, and yesterday it was a kind of a 10-year anniversary for the launch of this particular scheme. That's why our Prime Minister was talking about this scheme in general, right? Now, it is actually a tri-ministerial effort. So, which ministry actually manage this particular scheme? There are three ministries. First, the Women and Child Development. The second one is the Health Ministry. And the third one is the Education Ministry. So, Health Ministry, Education Ministry, a Ministry of Women and Child, MCW. Okay, so these three ministries are actually taking care of this scheme. Again, this is not, there is not a single objective of this scheme. There are multiple objectives, and the multiple objectives are taken care by different ministry. That's why it is known as a flagship schemes in general. Now let's understand more about this scheme. What are the key elements of the scheme? First, it is actually going to enforce our Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act. It is also known as commonly PCPNDT Act. Okay. What is the meaning of preconception and prenatal diagnostic? It means the diagnostics from where a person can know the child is going to be a girl or boy before the birth of the child. Now, it is not legal in our country. Okay, ultrasound has been done by almost all the women, but the doctors are not permitted to tell the gender of the child before the birth of the child. Okay, so that is very important in India. Okay, especially in country like India, no one can actually know what is the gender of the child before the birth because of this act only. Okay, this is the important act. This act is not a new act. This act is there since the 1990s, when the India's child sex ratio was declined at a very high rate, and because these machines were very new. Okay, it was actually an invention in medical science to know about what is the gender of the child. No, it was not only about the knowing the gender of the child. The diagnostic was about to know about the health of the child in general. But this gender reveal was also one of the part of that those ultrasound machine. But now the government has banned it because of this particular act, because people were having, you know, gender specific abortions. Right now also it is going on, but it was going on at a very large scale, and there were no ban, there were no restrictions on that. Then in 1990s, in the early 1990s only, we came up with this act. Now the one of the objective of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao is that enforcement of this particular act. Okay, so how can we enforce this act very carefully, okay, and holistically, because there are so many cases where this particular act is being misutilized, right? And the people actually, there are so many doctors or nurses at so many hospitals which reveal the gender of a child by taking a handsome amount of money from the parents. The second objective is the nationwide awareness and advocacy campaign. So it is not only about, okay, enforcement of a particular act or talking only increasing the enrollment ratio of girl child. It is also talking about the behavioral change of the people, to change the mindset of the people, to tell people girl child is also very important. So the awareness and campaigning program is also part of this particular scheme. The third is multi-sectoral action in selection of 100 districts. These are those districts where the child sex ratio was very low. So these districts, our Prime Minister was talking about these districts only where the child sex ratio in general was very low. Now he is saying that the sex ratio has improved a lot in this these districts from last 10 years. Again, very important, what is actually the sex ratio, national sex ratio in our country at birth. Okay, in 2014-15 when this particular scheme was launched, it was 918. Okay, actually in 2011 census it was 919 only, 919 per thousand. It means if there are 1000 male, on those 1000 male there are only 918 women. Okay, but in 2023-24 this number has increased, okay, and now we have 930 as our sex ratio at the national level according to National Family Health Survey. Okay, obviously we don't have the census of 2021 right now, but 930 is the sex ratio in our country. Again, it is less, it should be more. Now let's understand the key elements in detail about this particular scheme. The first is definitely we have already talked about, to prevent gender bias sex selective elimination. Why? So that by enforcing this PCP and DT Act 1994. Then second, to ensure survival and protection of girl child. So this is about the campaigning part and the behavioral change part. And the third is about promotion of education and empowerment of girl. How can we promote education? We can encourage higher enrollment of girls in school, and we can actually we can focus on reduction of the dropout of the school. Dropout कब होता है? Especially when the girl child attain 12 to 14 years age. Okay, 14 years of age. So then the dropout starts very significantly. We want to stop that also. Okay, it should not happen. Now, so this was about our particular scheme, the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. Again, it started in 2015. It has been 10 years, and according to the government, according to our Prime Minister, the scheme has done really good, and we have actually achieved a success. From 918, we have made our child sex ratio, at national level at 930. This 930 number is very important. So only figure which you need to remember from this particular article is 930 per 1000 male. Okay. So what is the actual sex ratio at the national level? Now let's come to our second news. The second news is about the National Health Mission. National Health Mission. So what is the new? National Health Mission has curbed several public health concerns. It is being said by a center's report. Which is this report? It is actually a 2021-24 assessment report, right? So what has been talked about in the report? The first is about the reduction in the mortality rate. Mortality means a reduction in maternal mortality. There should be maternal mortality. What is the meaning of maternal mortality ratio, or we say that MMR? It means how many women died during childbirth, right, out of 1 lakh. Okay. So here, out of 1 lakh, how many of them? In India, we have almost, this ratio is around 100. Okay. According to 2011 census, it was 103, but now we are saying that it is 100 per 1 lakh women. So 100 women die per lakh women who are giving birth. Okay, they died during childbirth, not the death in general, during childbirth. So according to the report, it has declined by 83% since 1990. Okay, 1990 means it's been 35 years. Since 1990, it has been declined by 83%, surpassing the global decline of 45%. Obviously, in India, the MMR was more, so the decline is going to be more only, and at the global level, it was not that much. That's why decline was not that. But India is doing much better as compared to the other country. That is something that we can take from this particular point. So our MMR has declined in general. The second is about the infant mortality rate. Now, what is infant mortality rate? How many mortality of newborns, okay, or live births per 1000 live births. For example, if there are 1000 live births, how many of those kids are not going to survive at a very, natal stage, right? So again, it has also reduced. In 2014, it was 39. It was 30. The number was 39 children were dying from 1000 out of 1000 live birth, but now it has reduced to 28. Okay, 28. So we have reduced it by 11. Again, that is also a good news. The third is about the total fertility rate, that is known as TFR in our country. So the TFR has also increased. It was 2.3 in 2014, but in 2020, according to National Family Health Survey report, it is 2.0 right now. Okay. Because we don't have census of 2021, so that's why our data is scattered. We don't have a proper data for that. Sometimes we take data from National Family Health Survey, sometimes we take data from some other organization's report or statistics. So now, according to Family Health Survey, again a very authentic data, it is 2.0 in 2022. So now our total fertility rate. What is the meaning of total fertility rate? That how many children a woman can bear in her reproductive age, right? From 15 to 50 years. How many kids she can bear. So in our country, the average ratio is 2, that every woman has at least, okay, on an average 2 kids per woman, right? So these improvements actually indicate that India is on track to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for maternal, child and infant mortality before 2030. So it is kind of a good news which is being said by this assessment report of 2021-2024, and all thanks to National Health Mission, because all these parameters are being taken care by the National Health Mission also. National Health Mission is kind of a flagship mission which is, okay, taking care of the overall health of the population. Now, what is the second thing which is being mentioned in this particular assessment report? It is about the expansion of the human resource in healthcare, especially after COVID. Okay, especially after COVID, we needed more, okay, human resource in healthcare. What is the meaning of human resource in healthcare? It means doctors. Human resource which are human, okay, and in healthcare, so doctors, nurses, paramedics, so there are so many kind of human resources and we need them, okay. And the healthcare professionals are very important for the taking care of the health of the country. We have seen in the COVID times, so they actually can play a significant role in situation like COVID as well. Not only in such kind of situation, but in general also healthcare professionals are very important for any country. Significant increase in the healthcare workforce over 3 years. Why 3 years? Because the assessment report is from 2021 to 24 only, okay. So it is talking about all the 3 years. So in financial year 2021-22, additional, how many additional healthcare workers were there? 2.69 lakhs. Again, you need not to remember this data. What you need to remember, what is the crux out of that? What is the crux? The crux is this line only. All these is to make you understand that there is an expansion of human resource in healthcare from last 3 years. It is being said in the assessment report of 2021 to 2024. In 2022-23, we have additional 4.21 lakh healthcare, and in 2023-24, we have additional 5.23 lakhs workers engaged, okay, additional workers. So now this is increasing, the additional healthcare workers in our country are increasing year by year, which is a good news. Right? Next is talking about the disease control and elimination. So this assessment report also mentioned 2 diseases. One is tuberculosis, another one is sickle cell anemia, that National Health Mission has contributed to control and elimination of diseases such as TB and sickle cell anemia. But they are not completely eliminated. The thing is that they actually contributed to control. The more focus is on the control part of these diseases. So what is tuberculosis, what is sickle cell anemia? You should know that the first TB is actually a bacterial infection. This thing first you need to remember. It is not a viral infection, it is a bacterial infection. It is being caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. The name of the bacteria is also tuberculosis only. That's why it is known as tuberculosis. How it spread? It spreads through air when infected person coughs or sneezes. Okay, these are the symptoms only. Coughing, okay, coughing. Sometimes coughing is with blood also. Sweat, night sweat, right? Weight loss and fatigue. What is our target to eliminate TB? Our target is to eliminate TB by 2025, because we are already in the January 2025, and in the last January there was news that in India the TB patient, the number of TB patients are actually increasing, they are not decreasing, right? Ahead of the global target of 2030. Yes, Hussain, you are very much right. We still need more healthcare worker in our country, but increment of these healthcare workers is also a good thing and a good achievement for that. We cannot achieve things overnight, okay? We have to wait for things. But if there is an increment year by year, there should not be the decrease of healthcare worker in our country. Okay. So, focus on eliminating TB by 2025 ahead of the global target of 2030. 2030 was the global target through Sustainable Development Goal, but our target is to eliminate this by 2025, right? Now, what is this sickle cell anemia? Sickle cell anemia it is actually genetic blood disorder. And the most important point here is that the parents sometimes are not aware about this disease. So awareness here is very important. So it is a genetic disease, first of all, caused by the mutation in the hemoglobin gene, resulting in the abnormal shape of the red blood cell. So red blood cell usually like this, but in this particular disease it may take shapes like this, like a sickle cell. Sickle is an instrument to cut the crops. What is the impact on health? It actually blocks blood flow, causing pain, organ damage and anemia. it predominantly affects certain tribal and marginalized population in our country. Why tribal and marginalized population? Because in tribal population there is so much intermixing, okay, sorry, so much inbreeding, okay. So genetic disease, if there is a very gap in the genes of the people who are producing children, then the genetic diseases are not going to impact that much. But if the marriage is in with the close relatives, then sometimes the genetic disease can magnify. Okay. So this was about the success of National Health Mission today. Now our third news is related to the minimum support price which is being given to jute. Jute is a crop. It is a commercial crop, okay, commercial crop. You know, you have used the jute bags as well, so that is a jute. Why jute is important for us? Because we are the largest exporter and producer of jute, okay. We produce almost 70% of world's jute. So India is famous for jute, and jute is actually very environment friendly, okay. So jute bags are always going to be environment friendly as compared to any kind of plastic bags. Again, what is the news here? So let's understand the news is that Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, actually this is the body which is responsible to increase or decrease तो होगा ही वैसे, increase the or to announce the MSP for the crops. Minimum support price for jute. Again, you need not to remember how much minimum support price we have given. This is just to make you understand. You need not to remember that. So per quintal. So per quintal now it is 5,650 rupees, right? So it is an increase of 350 rupees from last year. Again, this is also not that much important for us. What is important for us? First of all, in jute we are increasing the MSP, which is a very general statement. Government will only increase the MSP of any agricultural commodity, okay, because the input is increasing, the cost of input is increasing, then obviously the MSP is also going to increase only. Again, what is MSP? What is MSP? Yes, West Bengal is on the top production of the jute. Jute is eco-friendly, yes, and North India grow jute plantation, okay. So what is minimum support price? It is a government fixed price. First of all, it is being fixed by the government. The second, it is a fixed price, okay, at which it guarantees to purchase agricultural produce directly from farmer. It doesn't mean the farmer has to sell its crop to the government only, but if government is giving MSP, if the farmer is getting prices higher in the normal market than the MSP, then definitely the farmer is going to sell its produce in the market. But sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes MSP become the price of the commodity only. So if farmer is unable to sell it to the market for some reason, then the government has to, he can always sell his produce to the government, right? So government fixed price is known as the minimum support price. Why minimum? That it is minimum. It doesn't mean that this is the limit. After, if the, for example, now the minimum support price is 5,650 rupees. That doesn't mean the farmer cannot sell its jute, its per quintal of jute in a higher amount. He can sell it in 7,000 rupees if someone is, if his jute is of very good quality and he is getting this price in the market. But this is the minimum amount he is going to get. If in market someone is not ready to, you know, give this much amount to the farmer, then farmer can always go to the government and tell the government, this is the MSP, you please purchase my produce, okay. So this is the significance of MSP in our country. Yes, jute. Yes, you are very much right, Saeed. Now, at a press conference, Union Commerce Minister, that is Piyush Goyal, stated that the new MSP ensures 66.8% return over the average production cost. Again, not that important. Government highlighted that MSP is set to 1.5 times of all India average cost of production as promised in 2018 and 19. What is the meaning of this 1.5 times the average cost of production? Actually, MS Swaminathan gave this idea. What is this idea? If a farmer's production cost is 1, then how much MSP we need to set? So MSP should always be 1.5 times, okay, of the money the farmer has spent, or what is the cost of production. So the cost of production, all India cost of production है उसका 1.5 times we need to give as a MSP. It was decided or promised to farmer. Obviously it was not part of something that is mandatory, but government has announced it. We are going to do that. Now let's understand about the jute industry. Yet someone was all of you were talking about that which are the state which are number one in jute industry. So yes, West Bengal is the one which is number one when it comes to jute production. Again, because there is a marshy area, because for the product, jute is a crop. If you want to process the jute, you need large amount of water. Okay, so you need huge, you need to have a water body around the jute farmer jute producing area. We need to have the water body. So where we have the marshy area, this is the deltaic area. So not only in West Bengal, Bangladesh is also, actually Bangladesh is on the second number to produce jute, in jute production. So here this area is actually very suitable for the processing of jute. So that's why jute production is also concentrated in this area, especially in West Bengal. On the second day we have Assam. The same in Assam we have Brahmaputra. So Brahmaputra river actually provides that kind of facility to the Assamese. So the second number we have Assam. The first we have West Bengal. On the 3 we have actually Bihar. Okay. West Bengal is actually responsible for 70% of jute production, and if we combine West Bengal, Bihar and Assam, then 90% of jute is being produced by these 3 states only. But other than that, Meghalaya is also one of the where the jute production happen. Other than that, Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, okay, some part, especially in their deltaic area, jute production is there. Again, jute industry actually support 40 lakh farm families. 40 lakh farm families, providing direct employment to 4 lakh workers and 1.7 lakh farmers, from whom the jute was procured last year. Again, Jute Corporation of India is actually the nodal agency for price support operations. So this agency is not going to fix the price, this agency is going to give the suggestion. Okay, so on the basis of that, the MSP of the jute is going to get decided. What are the major jute producing state? Again, the first is the West Bengal, amounting over 70% of the India's total production. Second is the Bihar, Assam, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tripura, especially the Hooghly basin of West Bengal. Why Hooghly basin? The Hooghly is very important river here. So Hooghly basin West Bengal is the hub of the jute mills also. Why? Because its proximity to raw jute, cheap labor and transport facility. So this area actually has emerged as a jute production area. Okay, so it is actually there are so many location factors which contributes to the production of jute in this particular area. Yes, humid climate is one of the reasons. Now let's come to our next article. This article is related to the China's export control mechanism. Okay, so sometimes China control its export as a part of its geopolitical policy or to gain geopolitical advantage at the world level. So what is this critical mineral issue? First of all, you need to understand what are critical minerals. By name you can understand critical minerals. First of all, obviously they are minerals, but they are not minerals like iron or copper. They are the other kind of minerals which are very critical for the economy of a country. If a country, because they are very rare also, so sometimes such as cobalt, okay, titanium, nickel. So these kind of minerals are known as critical minerals. Why these minerals are important right now? We live in a digital world, in our mobiles, okay, in our laptops, computers, we need these kind of minerals. Not only here, in communication, in our cars, right? So everything which we used, we are actually using these minerals. Though we need these minerals in a very less amount, but these are very critical for the economy of a country. So every country actually identify their critical minerals, but most of the time, most of the minerals are actually same only for all of the country. For example, for India, lithium is very important because for lithium batteries, we are moving towards cleaner energy in India. We are trying to make India a hub of clean energy. How can we do that? We need to have electric vehicles. How can we make electric vehicles? For that we need lithium batteries. For lithium batteries we need lithium, but lithium, we don't produce lithium. Okay, we say that we have reserves also, especially in 2023 we found huge reserve of lithium in Jammu and Kashmir, but in India the processing industry is not that much developed. So the extraction of lithium, or in general any critical mineral or rare earth metals, they are very, very difficult. It is not very easy. We need high technological advancement, labor and expertise, which we don't have right now. If we are going to start today, it will take at least 10 to 20 years for us to become pro in processing or extracting critical minerals. Before that we have to dependent on the import from some other country. And which country from where we are importing these critical minerals? China is the country from where we are importing the critical minerals. Though China did not ban the export of any critical minerals for India, but China has done the same with USA, okay, because we all know that at the international level there is a trade rivalry between USA and China is using this as a technique to have a, or to make, or to show the world that it has the hegemony in the world. Okay, so I hope you understood what is the meaning of critical mineral. Let's understand the article also. So the article is saying that recently in January, the China expanded its export control list. What is the meaning of export control? Again, I have already told you, the control over its export. This control is very strategic. Otherwise, no country wants to export the control the export. Why a country would do that? For example, in India, we were controlling the export of sugar. Why we were controlling the export of sugar? Because we needed, because we were diverting our sugarcane towards the ethanol production. That's why we did not have enough sugarcane to produce the amount of sugar which was necessary for the domestic consumption. That's why India was putting a ban on the export of sugar. That was not strategically planned. It was not planned for the geopolitical gain. It was planned for the domestic consumption only, so that the prices of sugar should not get that much high in our country and we can control the inflation. But China doesn't do the things like that. What China has done here to control the export, here the China is controlling the export to have its geopolitical gain, especially when it comes to critical minerals, right? So China now has expanded its export control list to include 28 US entities. US entities means those entities which were being exported to USA. Okay, so China has put control on that, not ban, control on that. Restricting access to critical minerals and refined minerals, especially the critical minerals. So there were so many critical minerals which USA needed, but China has put control over those critical minerals. Now the worry is that China can do the same with India also, because we also have the issue with China, especially the border issue, and India's more engagement with the Western bloc. It can also, you know, offend China, and China can do the same with India. So we need to be vigilant about it, and we need to act before China does that. So this is actually the crux of the article. How can we overcome such kind of condition? But now let's understand. So these are the essential for high-tech industries such as aerospace, semiconductor, batteries and advanced electronics. It is talking about the critical minerals only. So why critical minerals are essential? So key minerals which actually in this particular list, which is being controlled by China to export to the USA, such as tungsten, gallium, magnesium, beryllium, hafnium, lithium 6 isotope. So these minerals are being, the export of these minerals from China to USA is being controlled by China, and these minerals are very essential for the economy of USA also, right? Now China is going to, you know, utilize this situation for its geopolitical gain. Again, China has previously used this control over critical minerals strategically targeting Western nation before also. So this is not a new thing which China has done. So this is actually the context of the article. What is the article is mainly talking about? Now why is that? Why the global competition of critical minerals? Why India is facing significant challenges when it comes to critical minerals, because we all know that critical minerals are very important. But why India is not producing its critical minerals first? What India can do, India can produce its own critical minerals, though we have the reserve. The second thing we can do, we can diversify our import of critical minerals. Okay, we need not to take all the critical minerals from China, we can diversify, we can take it from some other countries also, right? But why, what is the issue we are facing in China? So we are facing issues such as, first of all, the slow progress in the lithium deposit. We already have lithium deposit in Jammu and Kashmir. In 2023, we have discovered in Jammu Kashmir the huge reserve of critical minerals. But yet there are no companies which are going to bid on these resources. We only have the resources that are buried under the earth, so it is not very easy, and government is going to put auction on that. Government is going to call for the companies to come and extract those minerals, but no company is coming to extract those minerals, okay, for some reason. Main reason is that sometimes there has to be very authenticity in the news that yes, there are minerals there. If there is a little bit of difference, if there are no resources, then the amount of money the company is going to spend to extract, and but if they are not going to find any lithium there, so that is the thing why the companies are not coming to bid for these resources. The second, the low auction success rate. In our country in general, only 40% of the mineral blocks out of 100, for example, government has put 100 blocks for the 100 blocks where they have identified that there is mineral buried inside the earth. Now they have put the 100 blocks for auction, but only 48% in recent year has been sold. Out of those 100, only 48 were sold. Okay, 52 are still there. No one is bidding on those minerals blocks. So this is the issue which India actually is facing right now. Obviously there need to be some solution, and obviously government has also done something about it. For example, first of all, Ministry of Mine has already identified the 30 critical minerals which is vital for the national security. So we already know what are those 30 minerals. So if we already know these are the minerals, we can do something about that. The second, we already have this Khanij Videsh India Limited, which is also known as Kabil. It is actually a specialized agency tasked to secure overseas investment in minerals like lithium and cobalt, especially in lithium and cobalt, not only necessary but especially majority in cobalt and lithium. So what this agency usually do, actually it is not going to do things in India, it is going to go to the other countries. It can do many things. First of all, it can identify where the critical minerals they can find, for example in African countries. Okay, the second, they can procure them, they can process them, but they are going to bring back those critical minerals specially to our country only. So you can say that this is a private company. This private company is actually going to go outside India and find out where it can find critical minerals, and it can process them, it can extract them, and finally it is going to do everything for the sake of the India only. Okay, so they are not going to sell it to the other country. They can do that, but primarily they are going to sell it to India only. Third, 2023 amendment to the Mines and Mineral Act. Actually it removed the restrictive classification certain rare earth metals, right? Rare earth metals are one of the critical minerals. They are not the critical minerals exactly, they are subset of critical minerals. So rare earth metals are subset of critical minerals in general. Again, this amendment introduced exploration license to encourage private sector and foreign participation. Okay, so government has already done much about it. What are the way forward here? What are the proposed solution here? Now the proposed solution is, first of all, we need to improve our geological data. Why companies are not coming and bidding on the lithium reserve we have found in Jammu and Kashmir? Because they don't actually trust our geological data that much. First of all, we need to improve it. We need to provide high quality survey is crucial to reduce the uncertainty for the potential bidder. and unlock the true value of resources, because the potential bidder is not going to invest or start or do excavation at some area if there is no certainty that they are going to find minerals there. So we need to improve our surveys, we need to improve our geological data first. The second, we can offer upfront fiscal incentive. Upfront fiscal incentive, first of all, upfront means we are going to give it just before the start of anything. The meaning of upfront. Fiscal means something that is going to be given by government. Incentive, you know the incentive. Incentive can be in terms of the subsidy or some other incentive. For example, we are going to pay back you the 50% of the money which we are going to spend in the first phase of the extraction of a particular mineral. So such kind of incentive we can give. So India can support for semiconductor, like India did in the semiconductor manufacturing, by providing early stage financial support during the exploration phase. It could encourage the investment. Now the companies who are actually, maybe there are some company who is very uncertain. Now the company is going to come to extract it or the process or involve in the processing of a mineral only when the government is going to give some incentive. What kind of incentive they are going to give? What kind of incentive they are going to give? They can actually tell them, for one of the example, that we are going to pay back the 50% of extraction cost to you once the mineral are there. Okay. So we can give such kind of incentives. So these are actually the proposed solutions. Now, so this was all about this article. The major crux of this article was the issue why China is controlling the export of critical minerals. China is right now doing it with USA, but China can do the same with India also. So India need to have other options, okay, other than China, where it can procure critical minerals. Now, first solution is India can have it can utilize or process or extract its own critical mineral first. How India can do that? By incentivizing the private sector, by improving its geological geodata. The second, India can utilize its agencies such as Kabil. Kabil can actually work outside our country and seek investment for the critical mineral, procurement of critical mineral for our country. So these can be the solutions. So we need to look for the other options also, other options other than China. Okay. Now let's understand the question. So let's do some question also. The first, consider the following statement regarding the jute industry in our country. India is the largest producer of jute in the world. Oh, everyone is giving answer only. Good. So yes, first is correct. The second, Jute Corporation of India is responsible for price support operation. Is this also correct? Yes, this is also correct. West Bengal accounts for more than 70% of India's jute production. Is it correct? Yes. It is not B. Second is also. Yes, JCI is responsible for operations. It is not about the price support is being given by the Jute Corporation of India, but the operations, how we can calculate it, it can be done by the Jute Corporation. So D is the correct answer. Yes, Rishu, you have given good answer. Manish also, Mamta also, Ruchil. Mamta always give right answer. Well done. Now let's come to our second question. What is the primary role of Khanij Videsh India Limited? Such kind of question you can see in your examination. First, to regulate mining activities within India. Is it correct? The second, to procure strategic mineral outside India for supplying primarily to India. Third, to manage India's mineral export control. And the fourth is to develop domestic technology for mineral extraction. So what is the correct answer here? Yes, Ankit, you are very much right. B is the correct answer. To procure strategic mineral outside India. So please remember that whenever this Khanij Videsh India Limited is there, first thing it should be in your mind, it is going to actually work outside India, okay, to procure critical mineral for India, but from outside India. So that's why B is the correct answer here. Okay. Yes, everyone is giving good right answer. So this was all about today's newspaper. I hope you understood the articles. If you have any doubt, then you can ask in the comment section also, especially those who are going to watch this session later, who are not online right now. So have a nice day. Please read newspaper also. Keep studying. Those who are giving 2025 prelims, it is high time that you don't waste your time at any other thing other than your studies. So have a good day and goodbye.